Well, he's not that old in that.
We'll try that again. So, nearby Brad and Nisha, what's your favourite movie in the genre of we want to just be taken, but it's not taken?
That's a different question.
What? It is all my... Okay.
I thought I'd answer for your first one.
It's the same. Okay. So nearby Brad and Nisha, what's your favourite movie in which an aging movie star becomes an action hero and beats up a bunch of people? Really?
Mine doesn't fit. The one I have in mind doesn't fit now. You rephrase it.
It's rephrased with the same question.
John Wick.
John
Wick. No, because the idea I had in mind, I was going to say the Karate Kid, but the one with Jackie Chan, because I like Jackie Chan. But then he's not an aging star trying to become an action star. He is an action star.
Okay. All right, we're going to...
There's an intro somewhere.
There's an intro somewhere. Bob Odenkirk is an actor who proves the adage that comedy is the hardest thing for an actor to do, seeing as he's gone from comedy into the bizarrely popular aging actor turns into an action star and beats up the Russian mob genre with the film Nobody, a film that Odenkirk directly credits with... A movie Odenkirk directly credits with saving his own life. So guys, I guess, working on this channel for so many years, you are intimately familiar with the genre of, wait, this guy's an action star now? Pioneered by the Taken movies.
I told you I would find you.
Yeah, the really specific idea of old assassin / army man / marine / undercover agent who's gotten old and retired, gets back into the work.
And gets pulled back into the game, usually played by an actor you don't normally associate with the action genre. And there have been many pretenders to the Taken throne, and none of them managed to topple it until John Wick came along, to the point where I think a lot of people watching at home probably think of John Wick as being the prototypical example of that genre. It's no, it all goes back to Taken. And let's just pour one out for all the actors who thought that they were going to see the career resurgence that Liam Neeson got following Taken, because you had John Travolta with I Am Vengeance.
Oh, man, you're a pain in the ass. Is your daughter so? I so want to kill you.
You had John Cusack with a movie I don't remember the name of. And then, for a little bit, I think you had Michael Caine for one with, Harry Brown and stuff like that. So even Michael Caine got in on it.
You failed to maintain your weapon, son.
Was Red one of the ones with...
Yeah. But that was kind of we had Bruce Willis in it, but also Helen Mirren just man the gun.
Yeah.
Helen Mirren man the 50 cal, but then she was in the Fast and Furious movies, which is kind of weird.
She's also in National Treasure.
Oh yeah,
she is. I think she's... That is Helen Mirren, isn't it?
Yeah. And just something I realised as well, because I went to watch Ant-Man over the weekend, which I don't recommend people do. And I saw trailers for The Flash with just Danger to Society, Ezra Miller, and Fast and Furious. And I realised that new Flash movie's trying to be Endgame with ooh, look at all the cameos we've got from across the universe we've built. There are more DC Universe actors in the Fast and Furious 10 than there are in Flashpoint. Because you have Jason Momoa in that movie and a bunch of and The Rock. So you actually have more DC actors in Fast and Furious than DC's version of Endgame. It's that's sad.
So did you say you saw a Fast and Furious
There's Fast and Furious 10, yeah.
Oh my god.
Fast 10.
Are they ever going to stop?
I've already predicted this because I think either 10 or 11 is supposed to be the last one. My prediction, because I think there's going to be a new trend where older actors who have had a long franchise are going to come back for a big finale and their characters will die. And I think that Do
you really think Vin Diesel's going to let him kill off Dominic Toretto?
Dominic Toretto's going to die saving his family.
No, and the ending's going to be the ending to Man of Steel, where you're going to see the mud on his coffin's just going to vibrate. And his hand comes out like fucking Freddy Krueger.
It'd be better if it was the ending to the other Superman films where he flies into space and winks at the camera.
Just Dominic Toretto's you know what? When I really think about it, this entire universe is my family.
But like, Dead
We're all
Reckoning,
part of one galactic family.
Men in Black, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning is going to end with...
What do you mean Dead Reckoning Part 1?
Well, no, part 2. That's going to end with Ethan Hunt
I
dying.
mean, it's Dead
We
Reckoning
should
Part
do that thing, that thing on YouTube we've mentioned before. I don't know if we mentioned it in a video or just in person, the Avengers thing where they keep bringing more heroes in. They do that, but with all those actors.
Well, that's what cracked me up about, like,
Expendables.
like the
Is that what it is? Pretty much the same thing.
which they're also rebooting, but the Flashpoint trailer really cracked me up. It's like, they brought in Michael Keaton, it's like, yeah, I know, I'm Batman. I'm like, okay, what other Batman actors are in it? It's like, just Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton's the only one who's check cleared for that movie.
Paul Ben Affleck was making a cameo.
He is, but he's not in the trailer because he doesn't want to be in it. So people don't know, yeah, they filmed a lot of Michael Keaton scenes before the stuff with Ezra Miller came out. Stop kidnapping people, Ezra Miller. Like, stop calling yourself God in, like, Twitter threads with underage girls. It's not great. Have you not read the stuff about Ezra Miller? Oh, it's a treat. Go read it.
I knew that they'd done some like illegal stuff. I didn't know they'd been calling themselves God.
Yeah, well, that's the thing though, because they've actually, while this has all been kicking off, Ezra Miller has appeared in a lot of like minor roles. So if anyone's curious about that, just Google Ezra Miller minor to find out more. Anyway, let's talk about. I love that joke. I love that. It's like, hey, there's going to be a new Twitter thing called like Twitter Emerald. Just Google Elon Musk Emerald to find out more.
Every time I go on Twitter now, it's just Doge.
Oh, it's because Doge is suiting up to be the new face of Twitter. Just Google Elon Musk Doge suit to find out more. Anyway, so have you guys seen Nobody, the film at Bob Odenkirk credits with saving his own life because it made him punch so much?
No.
I wasn't aware it existed.
Okay, so it's a really good film. It's like John Wick. And I'd say in some ways it is better than John Wick because the actor in it, being the John Wick style character, can act. So, Keanu Reeves is a great human being, as far as we know. We have to say that now because you never know. I know, I can't wait. Because 5 years down the line, someone's going to all that age, poorly. It's like, we had the information we had at the time. Come on.
I get really wary now when I say like, oh, I like this actor or something because it's like, oh, that clip will exist forever.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yes.
It's like why well, obviously I don't have tattoos anyway, but I thought if I would get a tattoo, don't get it of like a band or anything like that because you'd never know what band members are going to be like.
Never forget our friend who turned up to a day of drinking in a Lost Prophets t-shirt on the day that news broke. And for anyone wondering why that's a big deal, well, the lead singer of the Lost Prophets had a lot of cameos in small. You can also just Google Lost Prophets minors to find out more. Oh no, I spilled coffee on myself. Oh,
That's what you get.
That's what I get. Okay, so you're not familiar with Nobody, but are you aware of the fact that Bob Odenkirk almost fucking died like a couple of years ago?
No.
Okay, so just to get the sad stuff out of the way as quickly as possible, while filming, I think like season 5 of Better Call Saul, Bob Odenkirk just collapsed and was thought to be dead for a couple of seconds. Unfortunately, they were able to revive him, and he's fine now.
Just speak about it properly. Yeah. Heart doctors tell me that what I had was a heart incident, not technically a heart attack, but I don't know what the difference is. I was turning blue and not breathing,
and part of the reason why he's fine is because of Nobody.
When you say it like that,
There's nobody.
Nobody helped.
Well, that's going to be the title, isn't it? Of nobody. It's either going to be nobody helped Bob Odenkirk not have a heart attack, or because that's about it. That time nobody helped Bob Odenkirk while having a heart attack is a pretty good title. Or that time punching saved Bob Odenkirk from a heart attack. I don't know which one's funnier.
The nobody one, definitely.
Okay, so I guess we'll go with that title. That time nobody helped Bob Odenkirk while having a heart attack. And you're like, wait, what? And then you'll click it and you go, you got me.
Yeah.
You got me. But,
so how did nobody help?
Well, prior to what a lot of people probably think about Bob Odenkirk, as a primarily comedic actor, unless you've only seen him in Better Call Saul, where he flexes his dramatic chops. He takes his roles on movies incredibly seriously. And to use Better Call Saul as an example, he will reportedly run through lines dozens and dozens and dozens of times with actors in his own time, so that he would have everything memorized and be able to go through it without thinking.
You're completely disgusting, you know that?
hey, buddy, you're the one with the sex toilet.
Get off my property!
That's partly because of Bob Odenkirk just being Bob Odenkirk, but also because the creator of Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, Vince Gilligan, is a weirdo. And one of my favourite examples of that in regards to line runnings is Have you seen Better Call Saul?
A bit.
Started watching it, but then it didn't like grip us as much as Breaking Bad did.
Okay.
So
So watch more because it will.
Does it get
It'll
better?
It gets real. You know what? Better Call Saul gets way better. But there is some characters in there called the Kettlemans, or the Kettermans. Have you seen those guys yet?
no.
Well, that's a husband and wife team that they ended up giving way more screen time because of how good their on-screen chemistry is.
You're fired.
How about we go to my office?
And that's because the two actors playing those characters ran their lines just endlessly behind the scenes because the guy playing the husband had a really interesting vision for like the character he was playing of, always being one step behind his wife. So what he did is he learned all of his co-star's lines so that he would be both physically and metaphorically one step behind her all the way.
Let me see. It's on its way to the DA's desk right about now.
What? You thief!
Takes one to know one, doesn't it?
Took it? How did you take it?
Like, you know, both in the framing and the way he delivers his lines, like this guy's like 100% just in this lady's pocket. That's just, you know, the kind of stuff that Vince Gilligan does. And that's just the kind of behaviour that, like, you know, Vince Gilligan inspires because nobody wants to be the person not pulling their weight on a Vince Gilligan production. And in specific regards to Bob Odenkirk, I said he'd run lines endlessly with co-stars, so all his lines would feel genuine and off the cuff. And then for the first season of Better Call Saul, when he found out his character, Gene, you know, spoilers, Better Saul becomes a guy now called Gene. He works at Cinnabon. He actually went in character as Gene to Cinnabon's training to learn how to make cinnamon buns, so he could become the most precious of all cinnamon buns. And just, yeah, that's just the kind of dude that he is. That's the way he rolls in regards to his roles.
I heard that
Cinnamon rolls, rolls,
God,
rolls. Yeah,
see.
three uses of the word rolls.
And this is something that in comedy, you just go and you do a joke about working at Cinnabon. You actually learned how to make a real Cinnabon, isn't that right?
I learned exactly how you make a Cinnabon. Debbie Rowley taught me. She's the lady from the head office, Mrs. Rowley, and she came, and that's part of Vince Gilligan's, you know, attention to detail.
Any more jokes? Don't look at me. I ain't got any jokes.
But this is the kind of guy that Bob Odenkirk is. And in regards to, do you want to leave this one in? Just, I'm guessing he took that same level of commitment with like an action role.
yeah. So I'm going to guess that he took the same level of commitment when it came to an action-based role.
Yes, that is exactly right, Brad. When he was cast in the role of Hutch in Nobody,
Hutch.
you've got to have the one-syllable name when you're in an action movie. It's just the way things are, unless you're playing like John McClane. And one day I do want to do a breakdown of the best like action movie protagonist names. Because like action movie protagonist names are like that quote about pornography. So it's like, I don't know how to describe it, but I'll know it when I see it. Of like, I don't know how to describe what a good one is, but when I hear a good one, I'm like, that's a fucking good one. It's like, do you know what the top tier one is for me? When you guys think of one? Arnold Schwarzenegger's character from Commando. Do you know what his name is?
Oh, no.
John Matrix. It's like, what a fucking name! John Matrix.
Isn't Stallone's character from Demolition Man John Spartan?
John Spartan,
John.
yes. I think like the secret is you've got to have like a very
John.
simple
John
first
McClane,
name. I think it's
John
no.
Wick, John Spartan.
Yeah, it's a simple first name followed by a like a weird or unusual sounding like last name.
The trick is that it's got to sound good being shouted by somebody with an accent. Because they're always fighting someone from a different country.
Yeah. Or while you're holding a shotgun. Like, you know, the last name has got like the either the last name or the full name said in its entirety has got to like audibly resemble the cocking of a shotgun. It's like, you know, John Matrix. Actually, that's probably not the right actual point.
I think you're watching the wrong kind of film.
There's the gift. Oh. John Matrix. 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 So I've just googled like the full name of Bob Odenkirk's character, and it does conform to this rule we've just created.
Is it John?
John.
It's Hutch Mansell. So
Mansell?
Mansell. But it's that thing about, you know, one syllable first name, two syllable second name.
Or you could have it the other way around, like Ethan Hunt.
Ethan Hunt, yeah.
It's got to be quite short and snappy, hasn't it?
Jason
Bourne.
Oh,
Yeah, and that's the thing, either way, so it's either got to have like,
James Bond.
it's got to go 2 syllables. I think James Bond is like, yeah, but that's where you get like John Wick.
Yeah. Well,
But even then,
They'll still
007.
be short,
they
aren't
fit into
they?
a different one of like where the surname is said on its own as 1 syllable, like Bond,
Yeah.
Wick.
Wick. John Wick.
No one just calls him McClane, do they? They say John McClane, because it just sounds cool when said out loud.
It's like when you talk about celebrities, you have to say the entire name. Like we've said this before, it just feels weird. Like if you went up to someone and was like, "All right, John."
I think that when I did the video with about Jack Black, I was calling them Jack and Kyle all the way through
Like, it just
because
doesn't sound right when you say, "Oh, Jack." Like your mate Jack. Say Jack Black.
It's like that great interview with Jackie Chan, where he gets really annoyed of like, people always say his name, Jackie Chan. He's like, why do people say my name like that?
Because is it true that everyone just goes Jackie Chan?
Yeah, I really hate that, you know.
And Jackie Chan gets really upset about it. He's like, yeah, people see Dustin Hoffman. Oh, that's Dustin Hoffman. That's great. And see Jackie Chan. And it's like, why do people always say that? It's just like when he met the Queen, he was getting the Queen to do it. So he was half expecting the Queen to go, oh, hello, Jackie Chan. And just like do the pose. And like, why is everyone going to say that about me?
That's a Robert De Niro. Wow. Dustin Hoffman. Jackie Chan. One day, I hope people, wow, that's a Jackie Chan.
Just start doing it with your name. Just call you Karl Smallwood. Just like
It
not
does-
Karl anymore. Just Karl Smallwood.
It does conform to the rule, 1 syllable, 2 syllables.
feel
Just
like
It does.
small was too short.
Well, I think the word small, because it's got an elongated vowel, I don't think it fits.
Yeah, you need to
But
have
Carl
like,
would.
no, you need to have like a hard consonant. That's what you need
Doesn't fit,
there.
but Karl would.
Smallwood.
No, if it was McWood.
Oh, Carl McWood.
Cal McWood.
It sounds like a news reporter. Live here with Carl McWood.
Last year, when petrol prices went up,
Where's
and there
it
was like a
going?
news reporter called Phil McCann just outside the petrol station, like they knew what they were doing.
We're gonna hire Phil McCann. Who's like that guy who's in charge of like, I think it's like the World Food Poverty Project, something like it's called Robbing My Food. It's like, really? Really? That's who you get in charge? Like robbing my food? That's who you get? But you know what, at the end of the day, we were supposed to mention a sponsor today, but I think, fuck it, we're going through a list of them at the end. But, right, so as mentioned, he took the role of Hutch Mansell very seriously, and he trained for 2 years before a single second of footage of him snapping the arms of Russian mobsters, like, with pinpoint precision, like he's doing a speedrun of Dead Space 2 was even filmed.
I started as a comedy writer in this business, so no exercise at all.
And he would similarly, the way he would go through his lines with Vince Gilligan and stuff, go through action choreography with the choreographer and the director, to the point where they started to get annoyed because they're like, by that point they'd seen how much effort Odenkirk had put in, and they were like, please stop messaging me, you've got this, Bob. You don't need to endlessly agonise over whether or not you punch that guy good. And it got to the point where I need to get the guy's name right now, because it's an unusual name I'm not used to saying. So, Ayla Nishula, the director of Nobody, just sent Odenkirk a message saying, Bob, you're a fucking action star, stop emailing me.
I'm gonna fuck you up.
And that means you've not seen Nobody, have you?
Nope.
So I normally have to say when you're doing the edit, put the clip in, but you can't do it. I'm doing the edit, so I will say just go watch the bus scene. Which is available for free on YouTube because Universal, I think it is, who put me out, they know that's the best scene. It's Bob Odenkirk doing his version of the hallway fight, or the John Wick club scene, where it's just 5 minutes of Bob Odenkirk kicking the fuck out of a bunch of guys on a bus. And one of the things that I kind of like about the choreography is that it's showing that Hutch Mansell is he's a little bit rusty. And even without seeing the film, can you guess what Hutch Mansell's backstory is? I'll give you points for how close you are.
I'll get a bit more specific then, because I could just be vague about it.
Okay.
So I reckon that Hutch is we're going to say retired, which retired will he be? He'll be a retired, we'll go with Navy SEAL, retired Navy SEAL, who did like Black Ops in a particular war, and now he's retired, and he's brought back in because someone close to him is kidnapped.
Okay. You got it pretty close. He's basically that's every one of these characters. So he's retired from, I think it's some unnamed government agency, and he talks about how you do like Black Ops wet work, and he was the guy you would call like when you needed someone dead.
Like Better Call Saul.
Yeah, that was the chill, like Better Call Hutch, and there's like
They should have called it that. I've got to see it.
And there is like a great scene in the movie where he's going into like get a gun or something, and they have a brief shot of a tattoo that he has. And I didn't get this, so I saw a breakdown of it. The tattoo that he has is the worst possible opening hand in poker.
Thank you for your service.
And that is a shorthand for like military vets of you did some fucking shit. Like, because it's like the worst possible. It's like we send you in to the worst possible where you're expected to die and you still come out on top. It's like, I'm gonna win with the worst possible hand. Do not fuck with me. And like there's a guy spots it and he just goes into a room and locks like 8 doors and he's like, thank you for your service.
You too, old timer.
Yeah, in regards to like the choreography, like Bob Odenkirk made a point of my character needs to get hurt, and throughout the fight you need to see like that dulled edge getting the rust knocked off it as he starts to like come into his own and realise, oh yeah, this is what I'm good at, and he gets thrown through a window and then he comes back in and obviously you get the visual gag of him like asking to get back onto the bus.
I'm just thinking of that scene out of The Simpsons where Moe throws Barney out and he just appears behind him.
Just appears.
Please tell me there is a moment in the film, probably in the climax, when somebody says, "Who the fuck are you?" and he goes, "I'm nobody."
I don't think they ever. I think he might say that at one point because they have a bit as well. Like one of the great running gags throughout the film is that every time people find out who he is, they just quit. Yeah. Like, it was like they get like the hacker character, like who the fuck is this guy who's like murdering the fuck out of like all the people in my unit, because it's just that like Bob Odenkirk's character pisses off a mobster who attacks his family. He's like, well, you've attacked my family, fuck you. And he gets the hacker to look him up, and the hacker looks up who he is, sees like everything's just redacted, and just emails it all to the mob boss, says, "Don't pay me, I'm done."
I'm out, no need to pay. Good luck.
We're not even talking about the cameos, because the cameos in this film include the RZA, who pulls off the first like collat I've ever seen in a live action movie, where he triple snipes 3 people at point blank range. But also Christopher Lloyd, who plays Hutch's dad. And there's an amazing pull the rug out from under you shot where it's like, we're gonna go kill his dad. That's how we'll get him. We'll kill his dad. And it's like little old Christopher Lloyd, and he's in his like little chair. He's all decrepit. He's like 95 years old. Guy comes in with a gun, and Christopher Lloyd just opens his eyes. He's got a shotgun. And the ending like scene is just Christopher Lloyd with a shotgun. And I guess I'm gonna have to spoil the film now, because it's one of those things where even if I spoil it, you're still gonna go watch it, because you're watching it for the action. It ends with Bob Odenkirk, Captain America in the big bad to death with a claymore attached to a riot shield. And that's his like ending move. And it also saved him from a heart attack, because all the exercise that he did ended up with Bob Odenkirk getting in phenomenal shape for a man nearing 60s. Such good shape, in fact, that his heart's arteries enlarged to just accommodate all the extra oxygen that his body needed, which just so happened to help when he had a fucking heart attack. So it meant that when they were doing CPR, the enlarged arteries were strong enough to survive that level of force, but also pump blood to his organs to get oxygen to where it needed to go.
But we were talking about nobody, and one of the things that saved me was I learned how to work out. And because I was in good shape, you kind of enlarge some of the other veins around your heart if you work out a lot. And I had done that. And as a result, I was told that more blood was able then to go to my heart during CPR.
So not only did it save him from the heart attack, it also prevented him from suffering any of the debilitating effects heart attacks can sometimes cause. And he was back on his feet within a couple of weeks and was like recording Better Call Saul episodes. And he credits nobody with that. It's like, if I had not spent 2 years getting in phenomenal shape, and like, you know, my body probably would have not survived, like, you know, this incident. I might not still be here if it wasn't for the fact I spent 2 years whipping the fuck out of Russian gangsters for a movie that nobody saw because it released during the pandemic. Why did they do that?
Nobody saw nobody.
Nobody saw nobody.
I can't believe nobody helped him.
Then obviously as well, the joke that I've made is of like, here's an artist impression of Bob Odenkirk's heart, and it's like buff SpongeBob. And I don't know why that always cracked me up so much, is that scene in SpongeBob where SpongeBob gets super ripped. Oh yeah, that's how nobody helped Bob Odenkirk while he was having a heart attack.